Hey, everybody. Welcome back to the Bullhucker Podcast. I'm Moose Lundstrom.
I'm going second, and I'm Matt Gordon.
And I am Jenab or Generous.
Generous. I still got to buy you that T-shirt, don't I?
Yes, you do.
I got to hook you up with that.
I want a T-shirt.
You're not generous.
But would I be generous if I had a generous shirt on from a generous friend?
If a tree falls in the woods, right? I mean,
he doesn't even get me boss. This place sucks.
Mine's more like the OG or OJ, I guess.
I like that.
Yeah.
The OJ.
Yeah. She's generous with the J. That's Generous.
Generous.
I dig that.
Yeah. So it's her rap name. But hey, welcome back. We're on part 2 of our favorite stories of 2022.
Part 2.
Yeah, part 2. What did I say?
Part 2.
I did say part 2.
I was confirming it. I was sharing in the revelry.
I gotcha. I have other 2 co-hosts that we've had on all year. There's been 4 of us all year. Well, there's been 6 of us. Michelle Staley did 1, and then Connie did 1.
Yeah.
But there's been 4 of us. So Dincy and Adam did last week, and they're here this week. So
Well, we got the dream team here today.
Yes, we do. We're going to have a blast.
she's still leaving you hanging right now.
Oh,
just flying in the air all by myself.
She's generous till it comes to the pound.
Look at how we finish each other's
sentences.
See, look how good that was.
Oh, that's good, I guess.
We got it. We got it.
was
We're
solid.
ready.
I mean, I've seen better, but, whatever.
All right, there, cut it.
So anyway, what we're going to do today is talk about our favorite stories of 2022. Last week, we had a bunch of great stories.
Yes.
And for me, this is super tough because I could pick 50 more. You know what I mean? There's been so many good stories in this podcast, in my humble opinion. So,
Agreed.
We both picked 2. All 3 of us picked 2, and then we have 2 from some people who follow the podcast. So, without further ado, you guys didn't check out last week's podcast, did you? The first part 1?
How terrible is it that I haven't yet?
No, it's cool. I have the stats, too, of how we all did. So
the stats.
I should read them off, but I read them off last week. So, anyway.
I didn't even see that it was out already.
Yeah, it just came out. Oh, wait, did
You can
it?
tell how plugged in we are as hosts, right?
Well, and how sucky I am at social media.
You're all good, Jennifer.
It's all good.
All right, guys. We have 8 great stories.
8 great stories.
Yeah, that's cool. And you guys all picked stories that you were a part of, except for you, Jen. You actually picked one that was that you didn't co-host in.
I did,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I have a personal relationship with Michael.
Okay, we'll get to there.
I mean, I don't know him, but birds.
Well, the first 2 we'll talk about is there's 2 people who follow the podcast pretty well, and I know that because they always comment on their stories on the YouTube channel. So I reached out to them. Susan Koser, of course, the Susan Koser.
Yes,
and you got to meet her.
I did.
Yeah. What's up, Susan Koser?
Yo.
She picked actually an episode, and it was a great episode. But I picked a story from the episode because she didn't want to pick a story out. That was Jake Spohr.
Okay.
Dana's son.
Yeah.
So the story that I picked out for that one was the Anne Frank story. So that's the one that made me laugh the hardest. Yeah. So we're going to check it out and come back to it here.
So my buddy, he was running for student body president or something in college, and then he made these posters, and he's like, win or lose, we still booze. Like, his last name was Lot, so it's like too lot to handle party. So it was the house, they called it the cabin, mostly because it was just really fucking cold.
Right.
Because he had to heat the house with a wood stove.
Nice.
And everybody would get too drunk and let the fire go out, and then you wake up and you could see your breath. They froze the toilet downstairs and it cracked. And it used to be an antique shop. So the whole house is just like a big open space like this with wood floors and wood walls.
Right.
So pretty good for throwing pretty insane parties. Cause it's basically set up like a bar.
Right.
And then, they had a grow house in the back. Whereas people used to grow weed back there, so they had all these hooks and shit.
Is it legal there or it's not legal there?
It wasn't at the time, for
Is
sure.
it now?
No, I think so.
Okay.
But, yeah, so, yeah, I'm like, dude, the cops are going to come. Talking to the kid throwing the party. He's like, they'll be cool. Like, they're not going to be cool. This is out of control.
You got a house full of weed and a broken toilet downstairs.
There wasn't any weed at this time.
They're gonna have
but
questions.
It's oddly suspicious. It's like, why do you have so many LED lights hanging in your sunroom?
That's where we dry our laundry.
So I don't know. There's hundreds of people in this house, packed. And I was like, so I'm not running. Too fat. Not going to do it.
Right.
They said they had a crawl space. And the bed covered the door almost perfectly. So you could roll the bed out, get in the crawl space, roll the bed back, close the door. Can't be seen. So I told my buddy, like, I'm going up there. Like, you should go up there. You're going to go to jail. You're throwing the party. He's like, nah, I think they'll be cool. Like, it's so stupid. And the cops eventually break up the party. I go, and I might have, I think it was codeine. I think I made some scissor at the time.
You made some what?
Scissor.
So, it's great because like everybody would get just horrible colds, and then we'd go to parties and drink scissor, and then it's actually not that fun of a thing to do at a party because you just get really sleepy.
I kind of follow what exactly is scissor. I mean,
Codeine.
But it's anything else? Just
Yeah, I don't know. It's like Sprite, and you put a Jolly Rancher in there. So.
Yeah, it's like the codeine. And
Yeah, we just
like
drank
an energy drink. And, like Lil Wayne used to drink it. Or something. Lil Wayne or one of them.
Yeah, 3 6 Mafia has a song about it, but so, I don't even think I mixed it with anything. I was just walking around with a bottle of codeine.
Yeah, why screw around?
It's like everything else is just speed bumps for where I'm trying to get.
Right.
So I was sitting there, heart's racing. You know, I can hear kids jumping out the window. This is like 3 stories up,
Right.
and the kids are jumping out the window because it's like super old town, mining town. So the houses are like this far apart.
Right.
So kids would just get on roofs and start running down the street until they got a roof that was close enough to the ground that they could. And I can hear the cops just like, these kids are fucking crazy. And they're searching the room that I'm in, and I can see them like look under the bed. I'm like, oh fuck, because there's a tiny little crack in the crawl space if you look real hard, if you look under the bed.
Right.
Yeah, they didn't catch me. I'm like, oh. Because I was just thinking about how embarrassing is it going to be when this big ass cop like drags me out of this crawl space by my fucking ears.
Let's go 8 Mile.
So I hear him checking the closet. They don't find anybody, and then codeine kicks in. I start doing this and fall asleep. So I later found out. So cops were letting everybody go because they were usually pretty cool.
Yeah.
And when the cops recognized the girl, she's still in high school.
Oh,
We were
no.
like, oh fuck! now the homeowners look creepy.
Right. Right.
So they had basically everybody in the basement was cornered. Everybody else that was upstairs was able to skedaddle out of there.
Right.
And the cops couldn't catch anybody. And so we made the newspaper because it was like 27 MIPs, the most the cops had ever written in a night.
How many pickle tickets, though, Harold? How many pickle tickets? None with your lame ass party.
So my 5 buddies that lived there, and one other dude just because he was being aggravated, again got disorderly conduct tickets, $185, and then you got to go through the whole problem of finding a sober driver that can babysit the drunk people once you get them out of jail. So it was like 5 in the morning they came back. And they're making all kind of ruckus. Their blood's pumping. They're all pissed off that they went to jail.
Mm-hmm.
Like, nobody should be surprised that you went to jail.
Yeah. The only person surprised is you, dude.
I come crawling up, and I was upstairs, and they're down below. And I'm like, Jake, where the fuck have you been? It's like, dude, Anne Franked it. That's why my buddy Justin looks at me and goes, they let you go because they thought you were blind and deaf? My friends are so dumb that I can't even make jokes.
All right, so that was the Anne Frank story from Jake Spoor. That was from the favorite episode of Susan Koser. So, sorry, a little distracted now.
We're pushing through.
Yeah, we're pushing through. That was the story. The whole podcast is actually pretty funny. It's probably one of the funnier ones we did all year.
I continued to keep listening to it. It was great.
Yeah.
And he's not from here.
That's the mayor's son.
Mayor's son.
Yeah, Jake.
Yes.
He's from North Dakota, South Dakota, one of the Dakotas.
I don't know who our mayor is.
I love it.
Oh, okay. Dana Sherman.
I'm very political.
The hat says it all, Jennifer.
I love it.
The hat says it all.
I love that.
What's that?
Not knowing those kind of things. Like there's a certain bliss to that.
Right.
Yeah, I don't pay much attention because it's such a mess. So
She had got a hold of me and said that her sons were in on it, and one kind of didn't have any interest towards the end. So Jake went ahead and came. We actually, it was the first one we did here at the Emporium, which that's where we were at the Brush Emporium. I should have plugged that first.
Brush
I'm sorry.
Emporium, here we are.
We'll talk about it here in a second. But she said, he wants to try it out, and so he came in, and man, I think he just did a great job. Did you listen to the whole story episode or no?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah, they were all great. He was hilarious.
Yeah, he was. And then at the end, how he gets me is kind of funny. So
Okay, so I'm curious. When you're seeking a funny story out, what tickles you? What tickles you about this story the most, Larry?
about this story,
Yeah, this story or funny stories like this. How do they get you? How can a great story get on this best of?
it was a great story. At the end, I liked the punchline at the end.
Refresh it. Let's hear it.
His friend. Did you listen to this?
I did, but I'm trying to talk about it in context.
Okay, buddy.
I'm asking questions, engaging.
His friend wanted to know where he'd been because I Anne Franked it, which
Yes.
means, although he was in the cellar, not the attic. And his friend then says, "They let you go because they thought you were deaf and blind." That was that part right there. And the part that I love about it is I was proud of me and Adam got it right away. Like,
Yeah.
there's nothing to signify that he's talking about Helen Keller, but they just automatically know that's what he's talking
Yeah.
about. And in your mind, you actually make that same connection, right?
I did not.
Really?
I had to wait for them to say Helen Keller before I was like, oh my God, I can't believe I am now dumber for listening to that because I didn't make the connection at first.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
but I thought it was hilarious. I was just like, oh my gosh, that's great.
Right, she did a good job. So, Susan Koster, thank you so much for commenting every week on the podcast. I always look forward to your comments. She always guesses.
That's
you
the fun of the podcast,
Yeah,
I would say. I love that, seeing people get involved like that.
And it just dawned on me what I should have done when I did all our stats. I should have put Susan Koster's stats in there too, because I don't think she's missed a week.
Oh man, that's
Very
a really
nice.
good idea. A listener leaderboard
Yeah.
to know who's the best guesser.
Oh, you know what? Maybe that's a good.
You know what I mean?
Maybe we should introduce that in 2023.
Get featured on the leaderboard.
Yeah.
And you know what? I remember a podcast I used to listen to back in the day. I know this is a side note, but it connects, I swear. The biggest problem in the universe, they would present problems every episode, and then they would put it up to a vote on their website, and fans could vote up or down on what the biggest problem was.
Okay.
Yes. And it had so many ridiculous things.
Interesting.
Yes. But you could throw on the leaderboards like, take your guess here and sign on, and then they will make a guess of whatever they think the Bullhucker is, and then they move up and down on the leaderboards on the website. Be
But
like,
how do
the
we do
number one
that?
guesser.
Well, we can do the
Let's talk about the logistics right now.
let's make this a 3-hour podcast. So
Is Susan never going to come on the show?
I've offered
Get
her.
on the show. How amazing would that be?
Yeah, come on
tell
the
some
show,
stories, Susan.
Susan.
Yeah.
Tell some stories.
So she's so nice.
Eventually work your way into co-host.
Yep. You know what? Maybe that's where we should get her.
I'm saying.
There you go.
Her and her husband are great. They came to the last comedy show. It was a lot of fun to have them. So
That's awesome.
and the comedian actually picked her husband out and started messing with him. It was great.
That's
So
the most exciting thing.
it was fun.
That is
You're
exciting.
actually gonna be the one coming up here pretty soon, Jen.
I sure am.
All right, we'll have more information on that later, though. So,
Anne Frank.
Okay, and that was Anne Frank. So, thank you, Jake Spore, for being on the podcast. You were
Thank
great,
you.
man. You were a pleasant surprise
Thoroughly
because
entertaining.
I didn't know him at all, man. So, when you walk in blind, it's tough when you don't know him, right?
Yeah, well, shoot, I feel like that's half the times I'm co-hosting with you is all these different people. So.
Well, yeah, because you know, to determine if somebody's bullhucking you kind of want to know them personally.
Right.
Because you're like,
How to read them.
if you don't know them at all,
Right.
you have a huge risk of they can bullhuck you all day long, tell you
Right.
whatever they want.
Yep. But it's fun. You and I've done, Matt, have done it a few times in Springs. We didn't know that either of those guys in Colorado Springs.
And there's a piece where like you take it. I don't know how to word this, but I take this relatively seriously because like I want it to be entertaining. But when you're going in cold and not knowing somebody, there are times like I remember. Not that I mean, where it's the best of. We could talk about other episodes. The Jimbo Fisher episode. Jimbo, you rock. You're
no, Jimbo Lucas.
Lucas. That's what I meant. Who's Jimbo Fisher?
Who is Jimbo Fisher?
That's like a college football coach.
That's
I think.
somebody.
Yeah,
That's somebody.
All right, so Jimbo Lucas was when we were in the Springs, brand new. Never, I mean, not that I've ever met wrestlers many times, but
Right.
one of those situations where you go in cold, and then he plays cold because he was
Right.
putting on that facade of like, I'm not going to give you guys a lot of info. I'm not going to give a lot of emotive response because I want you guys to read nothing from me.
Right.
And straight up, Larry and I look over at each other and like semi-panic, going, "Oh my God!" At first,
Yeah.
this guy doesn't want to be on this. He's not engaging with us. No. He's acting to make it harder for us to guess. We're like, we would know that because
Yeah.
we don't know him.
Right.
And then we pick up on it like the second story going, oh my God. Okay, now we got to start asking questions. Draw that out of him. Try and get him to
Right.
share information. Get him to trip up. And that's hard.
But
You
to be
gotta play it.
fair, he wasn't going to do it at first. He was a standing because
That's
the other
right.
two guys couldn't make it, so he just jumped right in.
Just like
cold,
right out
cold turkey, man. So yeah, it was
Wow.
pretty
It was
impressive.
fascinating, but it definitely speaks to that. Like when you first meet somebody and you have no idea anything about them, they could be anything, and you're not
Right.
going to be able to pick up lies. You're not going to be able to pick up anything at all.
And I'll tell you, before we get off this subject, if you have a chance to look up on YouTube Jimbo Lucas, the wrestler of Springs.
Dude.
The man's like 50 years old, Jen. He's built like a shit brick house.
It's crazy.
And this guy is athletic as all get out, man.
Okay.
It was amazing to watch him work, man.
Yes.
He was like a young man. I'm 5 years younger than him. And there's no way I could even remotely keep up with this old man,
No,
dude.
same
you know?
thing.
I heard some of his yesterday when I was on the road. It's either before or after one of our stories.
Okay. All right.
So I was like, oh, who's this dude?
Trying to remember the wrestler. Yes.
I didn't realize he was a wrestler.
It was good. Okay. The other one is Tish Perez. Hey, what's up, Tish?
Yo, Tish.
She's always very, very. She does a lot on YouTube. She always
Yeah.
comments. She's always very active on the Bullhucker stuff. And every time I see her, she talks about it. She's the one that Adam dogged on the hug. Fucking Adams. And she always writes, "It's okay." She gave me two stories. I just picked one of the two that she gave me to put on here. And that was the peanut butter hemorrhoid cream from Akron, Colorado. Connie Ray, man. So we're gonna check it out. Here's the peanut butter hemorrhoid cream story.
I got a lot of great stories from the military, and I thought this was one of the funnier ones. There's not many women in the military, and I worked construction. I was a Navy Seabee. I was a heavy equipment operator.
Wow.
And we used to go do field exercises, maneuvers, up in Hunter Liggett, California. And we had 3 girls that were in our tent. Well, 3 other girls besides myself. And we were up there doing field maneuvers. And, you know, Hunter Liggett, if you know anything about California, is hot in the summertime. And you get chafed in areas. Well, this one girl in our tent, she didn't have the best hygiene. And for months, you know, she'd get up in the morning, she'd throw her PT gear on. I mean, we all lived in barracks together. And she'd get up, she'd throw her PT gear on, and we'd go run. And then after we were done with physical training, we'd go back to the barracks, we would shower, and change into our camos and go to work. Well, she would not shower. She would literally just get dressed and go to work. I mean...
Oh, natural.
Yeah. And she was ripe. I mean, she would stink. And this went on for a while. And so anyways, we're now in Hunter Liggett. We're doing field maneuvers. And we just got back from a night ops. We were the aggressors. We were going up with a battalion. We were in a small detachment. And we would attack the aggressors with Miles gear. It's a thing you would wear on your chest, and you'd have a little suppressor on your M16, and it would fire a laser beam.
Okay.
And if it got hit, it would go off. It was very noisy. And but anyways, we got back, and we were hot, and we were sweaty, and we just want to get done. And Roxanne goes, she says, "Anybody have any ointment?" She says, "I'm chafed." And I'm like, I don't know, you know. So we're looking around, and we got ointment. And I looked at my girlfriend Carrie, and I said, "Check this out." And you guys would know what MREs are.
Yeah.
We have meals ready to eat. Well, they have little tubes of peanut butter in them. So I handed her, I said, "Here you go," and I threw it over to her, and she said, "Hey, thanks." And, you know, she didn't even think anything of it. She broke the tube over, you know. So what the funny part of it was it's night. Yeah, it's nighttime. And you could see her silhouette. You know, so she's kind of bent over, and I don't know how explicit I can. She's taking this peanut butter that's on her fingers, and she's wiping it in her butt crack.
Yes, right. It looks like she's wiping her butt in reverse, right?
Yes,
And,
yes, exactly. And so, anyways, she, you know, she's all of a sudden, what is that smell? She takes her fingers, she called us every name in the book. "You mother effer, son of a gun," you know. She said, "You gave me peanut butter and I just wiped it up my ass," you know.
Why does my butt smell like my childhood?
So needless to say, she wasn't too happy with us. But yeah, that's the peanut butter.
So that was the peanut butter hemorrhoid cream with Connie Ray. That was actually the first one we filmed in Akron, Colorado.
That was so much fun.
At the At Ease bar, and that's what a great little bar, by the way.
It's not the At Ease bar.
Is it?
It's just At Ease bar. And so you have to say it as At Ease bar.
It's the At Ease bar.
There's no the.
It's the.
It has to be if you put it in a sentence.
Doesn't make sense.
Oh.
I was at
Ease.
bar. Yeah, I was at Ease bar because the name is At Ease, and you would say I'm at Ease bar because it's not the At Ease bar. She said that to us.
Anyway,
Grammar, please.
that was a great episode. Her whole episode was pretty great. She had a story. I liked the peanut butter story, but I would have picked a different one of her stories. I'd have picked the one with her dad and the Hubble telescope.
That was.
Her dad actually was one of the guys who polished the Hubble telescope for 7 years.
Yes,
now?
yes.
I mean, it was cool, and he was such a amateur astrologer.
No,
he
not astrologer.
No, what did I say?
said
Astronomer. Sorry.
Yeah.
Amateur astronomer. That it was a huge honor to do that. You
Yes.
know, and how emotional he got when he got to launch into space, and him and his wife were there to see the Hubble launch.
Wow, that is amazing. And it's nice to get those more deep stories every now and again
Right.
instead of funny all the time.
Right. Well, that was that. The funny one was the peanut butter hemorrhoid cream that
Yeah.
was actually picked. And Tish, I guess, is a nurse, and that's why she picked it, because every time she has to apply cream on anybody's ass, she starts giggling a little bit. So she thinks about that story. So it was a fun story. And Connie Ray was great, man. She was fantastic.
I agree. Yeah, I had a blast talking with her. I remember thinking during the story, would it be effective? Like, I've never tried it.
I remember you were asking that, and I thought,
Would it be effective? Would peanut butter actually be like, we're in apocalypse mode, okay?
Well, buddy, there's only one way to find out.
Right, get some Skippy, baby. We're going to check this out.
It's not going to give you any, relief like lidocaine would. And I don't think there's any medicinal
Benefits to
qualities.
peanut butter in your butt?
But I think that it could be effective, but not for hemorrhoids.
Just a thought.
Here's the disclaimer I'm going to give for the Bullhucker podcast. Please don't put peanut butter in your ass. Okay, we cannot confirm that it's going to help you at all. It may hurt you.
How
Please
about don't kink shame, Larry?
don't
If you want to put peanut butter, just don't tell us about it.
Just
But do
don't tell us
whatever you
about it.
want.
Keep our name out your mouth, okay? Keep our name out your mouth. Okay.
And if you're going to do it to somebody else, then come in and tell us the story about it.
Right.
Because it's definitely
Right.
worthwhile to hear.
Right.
And keep your fingers out of your mouth after you don't want to share the peanut butter.
But peanut butter gets everywhere. There's only one way to get it really clean off your fingers. You got to lick that fucker off. So.
I am not touching that.
But that's one of the three people I picked to, other than the co-hosts, my mom, because mom always watches everyone, and she
Yes.
calls and talks about it.
Shout out to moms.
What's up, Mom? And Tish, and then Miss Koser, Susan
Yeah.
Koser. So
Very nice.
thank
Thanks
you guys
for listening.
Yeah, thank you for
guys
listening.
so
Thank
much.
you for doing that. And if you want to, if you want to be part of this, but we always appreciate when you do comment on the YouTube channel. It's always fun to see people when they comment and put what their guess was, you know.
Try to guess.
And not to talk shit, but I think Susan Koster might be one of not so great, like around my level, and so
guessing.
Yeah. She told me she's horrible at it. So.
I think it's also a different kind of experience where inviting them on to co-host, trying to guess from the chair versus guessing from the podcast.
Right.
It always feels a little bit different.
You know, it's funny when I edit these too. I always think to myself, "Man, I wish I'd have said that. Wish I would have
Yes.
went there, man." Or I'll catch something the second time around.
Yep.
As I'm editing it, I'll be like, "Oh shit, I totally missed that reference, or
Yep.
I didn't understand what they were saying completely."
Oh yeah.
And it's happened with you guys both, and all four co-hosts. You said something, and I've taken it wrong, and I've argued with you, and I can see on the camera, you're like, "What are you talking about?" You still like, "This is your podcast, idiot," because you're fucking this up. So that was Tish Perez. So thanks again, Tish. You're great, man. Okay, you know what? We'll let the lady go first. How's that sound, Matt?
I think that's fair.
Jen, you picked two stories. Which one do you want to talk about first?
Let's go ahead and talk about Christine Casto's Denver Ditch episode.
All right, this is episode 71, Denver Ditch, from Christine Casto. Here, check this one out right here.
My girlfriend's husband had set me up with this guy. Oh, great. Wasn't a bad-looking guy. Not a good-looking guy, but not a bad-looking guy. Right. So the guy says he's got tickets to go to Comedy Works in Denver.
Nice.
I'm like, oh, sweet. I'm down for that. I'm like, I'll just meet you in Denver. And so, like, oh, it was like...
You've already met him at this point, or you've only seen photographs?
No, I met him briefly.
Okay.
Like, very, very briefly. Like, hi, my name's Christine. Oh, you are...
Okay, and then the day it was on.
And then it was, oh, yeah, you got to go out with him. He's super cool. He's nice. Blah, blah. I told him I would meet him in Denver. I'm like, oh, sure. We'll just meet up in Denver and go to Comedy Works, hang out, check things out. Well, a couple of days before we're supposed to go to this Comedy Works show, he calls me and he says, well, my truck's not working, blah, blah. Can I just ride with you up there? And I'm like, sure.
Oh,
yes.
he's from down here.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Gotcha.
Yes. So I'm like, sure. So I go by and I pick him up and off to Denver we go. It's an hour and 15 minutes in the car. And I am on the drive there. I'm turning the music up a little more each time because he's talking about himself the whole time. And I'm like, okay, this dude is just nervous. You know, it's not a, hey, what do you do? He didn't want to know jack crap about me.
He's a narcissist.
He's telling me how fabulous he is and what he does and blah, blah.
How fabulous he is. I love it.
And I am just hanging on the steering wheel, cutting into my fingers with my fingernails, going, oh my God. Well, we get to Denver and we go to this Italian restaurant to eat before Comedy Works. Very nice restaurant. Food is wonderful. The company, not so much. And so at the table, he's still telling me how freaking fabulous he is. And I'm like going, dude, if I don't see it, then you have to tell me it's not there.
Right.
Right. Are you convincing you or are you convincing me? That's, yeah, right.
Yeah,
Okay,
it
right.
was that bad. And at one point through this, and he's kind of rude with the wait staff. Well, I've been wait staff my whole life.
You're
Right.
never rude to wait staff when you've been wait staff.
I'm just like, and he's just kind of coming off condescending and arrogant and like, oh, he's so above them. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of like, I'm like, dude, one more thing out of your mouth and I could probably stab you in the head with a fork. And you've seen those forks in Italian restaurants. They've got some super long tines. I'm thinking I could just...
You could really get a geek in there deep. I could go 2.5 inches.
So I'm like, oh, fuck. So we finish up with dinner and we go to Comedy Works. We walk down to Comedy Works. We get to Comedy Works, and at this point, I'm ordering buckets of beer.
He's just going to get hammered.
We are not doing just a beer at a time. No, buckets.
You're making it so he doesn't want to drive home with you.
You're not going to want to get in the car with me, buddy. So I am drinking. I'm getting my drink on.
Right.
Well, we're sitting up near the front.
In the heckler section?
Yeah.
Pretty much so, yes.
The firing zone. Yeah.
Very much firing zone. And I've had already one bucket of beers down and on to the next bucket. And I have to pee. I'm like, oh, crap.
Oh, no.
I've got to slide out of this booth and go to the bathroom. Finally, I get up enough nerve to scoot out and go to the bathroom. Well, it's Bobcat Goldthwait. He's obnoxious.
Oh, no.
So he yells, hey! And he tells this guy that I'm with, your wife's leaving you. I would have already left you. Just horrible. And I'm like, I just turned around and I'm like, I'm not his wife. I'm going to the bathroom.
Right.
I come back and he's just mad. He's just, the guy I'm on this date with is just mad. Why would you turn around and say that? That was crappy. And I'm like, dude.
Because I'm not your wife.
I'm not your wife.
Yeah.
It was you publicly humiliated a narcissist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was, so he was just So much fun.
Right.
So
So much fun. She's so polite about it. He was a gem.
so we get done with Comedy Works, and I'm like, oh, yep, let's just call it a night. And he's like, well, we should go over to the Hard Rock Cafe. I'm like, oh, right.
You're downtown Denver at that Comedy Works.
Yes,
Yeah, okay.
yes. So over to the Hard Rock Cafe we roll. And so we get into the Hard Rock, and I said, he went up to get us drinks, and I said, well, find us a table. I've got to go to the ladies' room. Went to the ladies' room, and then went out the back through the kitchen area and left
You
him
left
there.
him.
Left him there.
Oh my gosh, I
In
love
Denver,
it.
and you're his ride home.
All the way to my car, I'm going, oh, Jesus, if he happens to know I'm gone and is
Right.
at the car, I'm just going to tell him, dinner didn't go well with my stomach. We got to go.
Right. Oh
Right.
what
If
do
you
I
get
wanna
caught,
do?
you got your excuse.
I got
Otherwise, you're
it
home
together.
free.
I am out of here.
Where's my fork? Where's my shanking fork?
Yeah, so I ditched him in Denver. I get back home, and thank God the guy doesn't know where I live. I went and picked him up.
Oh, nice.
But come to find out, he was my girlfriend's husband's boss.
Oh, no. So that was the episode 71, Christine Castow, one of the owners of the Club Tap Room, which we've done a lot of podcasts out
Yes.
of, and we'll continue to, because I really like the Tap Room there. Strohs are all great people. Why did you pick that one, Jen?
Well, my thought was she's been with Ryan for so long. I'm old and would not have the balls to do anything like that.
To ditch somebody in Denver?
to ditch somebody at all.
I mean,
And I just thought it was hilarious that she just was like, well, nope, screw this, and just, didn't she climbed out of a bathroom window
She
or
went out the back
something.
door. She went out the back
out the
door.
back door, right.
yeah.
And just left, and I thought, oh my gosh, I wish I would be able to do that. If I could do that, I could have saved myself so much troubles over the years. Just so much headaches, and yeah.
What'd you think about it, Matt?
I gots to go. I like the idea of you finding a situation where you absolutely need to leave. And sometimes ditching is required.
Have you ever done it?
Absolutely, yes.
Really?
Yeah, friends, family, and I would say this is something as an introvert. It's just the way it is. There are times where I just don't want to expend the energy, and I have to come up with a creative lie to get out of doing something. And so, like for example, you're hanging out with friends, and you set a time limit. I want to leave at 7. I do not want to be here past this. You set a timer on your phone for 7 o'clock, so it's your phone ringing, and you answer the phone and be like, "Oh shoot, I totally forgot about that, guys. I got to take off. I'm scot-free. Their feelings aren't hurt. Everybody gets to enjoy the night."
You did that to me 2 weeks ago.
Did I?
Yes.
When?
I'm kidding.
I was like, I had to think about it because I probably have done it to you in the past at some point. But the intention is not to hurt anybody, right? It's
Right.
like if you get in a situation where you need to get away from somebody, get away from them. But it's also your own personal well-being. You know, you want to be healthy, happy, and you set limits for yourself. You just got to ditch.
Yeah, but you ditched him to begin with. She ditched him 90 miles that way.
Yeah.
That's the tough part there.
A
That's-
blind
I don't see anything
date,
wrong with
and
that.
then he ends up not being able to drive, so she has to not only ride up with him, doesn't know him at all. She's probably halfway to Keensburg before she decides, I don't like this guy. She's probably already making a plan. How am I going to get out of this? I just thought it was so funny, and especially, 90 miles away, that's better than snipe hunting. Want to go snipe hunting at the Hard Rock Cafe?
Are you familiar with snipe hunting, Matt?
I don't even know what snipe hunting is.
Okay, it's a local joke as far as I can tell. I haven't heard about it anywhere else.
Yes.
Or they call it something different. Happened to be my freshman year. A bunch of older kids will take you out snipe hunting. By the way, snipes do not exist.
Right. Okay.
And then they take you out by the river, wherever in the middle of nowhere, and then they just leave you.
They will tell you it's a little bird.
No, I heard it was like a weasel with glowing eyes.
That is funny.
Yeah.
When they took me, I ended up halfway out to New Raymer, and I was just like, oh my gosh.
Did you have anything like that, girl?
I've never been snipe hunted
You've
or
never
tricked
been
or anything
snipe
like
hunting?
that. Not once.
Well, it's because you turned them down to begin with, "Oh wait, my home phone's ringing."
Yeah, no, I honestly would be like, why would I want to ever go out in the middle of the woods with any of you? Like, I'm staying home.
Is your mom on the other home line? Yeah.
Yeah.
This is the makings of every horror movie I've ever
Yeah,
seen.
yeah. I can't. I wouldn't even want to risk it. Like, why? I would try. Hey, yeah. I know we're just friends right now, but do you want to go in the middle of nowhere with us, where only we have access to?
I
No.
just wanted to be liked, Matt. Okay, let's
Please be my friend. Please be my friend.
I did like the Denver Ditch, and like I said in the podcast, that guy probably sat there and thought to himself, "She must be taking the biggest shit ever." Like, I don't know, that Italian food must have hit bottom. And the minute I try and picture the minute he realizes that she's not coming back, she has left him out in a town 100 miles away. I mean, and who do you call? You got to call a
Right.
buddy, and that's.
Can you come and get me? You can't call Uber.
Well, I was gonna say I can't remember when did this happen again?
She said, well, her and Ryan have been together for a long time, so I'd say early 2000s maybe.
Pre ride share, pre all that.
Oh,
So
shit,
nobody
easy.
to call. So you have to call a taxi.
Cab service, sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just thought, and even leaving them anywhere, just anywhere, but 90 miles away. And I'd love to hear a rebuttal. Like, I'd love to talk to this guy and be like, so how long did you wait?
Yeah.
How long did you sit at the Hard Rock Cafe? What did she order? Did you pay the bill?
Yeah.
How'd you get home? And
He must have paid for those 15 buckets of beer she said she ordered, so.
he must have been, I mean, I'm sure she deals with unrulies.
Oh, guarantee it.
This guy had to be completely just the worst.
Right.
For her to just say, nope, I'm out and here it is. I'm just leaving.
Right.
Sneaking out and leaving. I think it's so funny.
I'll bounce, baby.
All's fair in love and war. Is there any truth to that statement?
Yes.
And so, like, this is an example of that where, I mean, you get a vibe. All's fair, man. You got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. I guess we've all been there. You ever been ditched
Like
on a date?
On a date? Oh, yeah. Yeah, in some pretty harsh ways at that.
We'll get into that.
Yeah, if anything, maybe I'm more used to that than anything else.
You know what? February's coming up. We can have a little episode where we
Yes.
talk about our heartbreak. So.
My poor heart.
I had breakfast with a guy that I grew up with. I'd known him my whole life, and we got together and had breakfast. And then right after, he ghosted me.
Oh, wow.
Like, I was just like, I have your phone number, right? And I was like, that ain't cool. Ghost me? Why don't you just tell me you're too much? And I knew it. He was very religious and reserved, and I thought, oh yeah, this guy's not going to be able to handle me.
No, Jen, I wouldn't. That's
Yeah, I'm too out of control. But if I was Christine, my plan would have been to act so bad I got arrested or kicked out of I'd go to just go, I don't know how you're going to get home, but I'm going to jail.
Yeah, absolve yourself of a little bit of the
A
blame.
night in the Denver County is not that bad.
Compared to this date. I would rather be arrested and in jail than spend a
Yes.
night with you.
Next time I'm a guest on the show, that's the story I should tell you.
Yeah.
The first time I ever got arrested, that's a doozy of a story.
I want to hear that.
all right.
Definitely.
All right. Well, that was hemorrhoid. Or no, I'm sorry. That was the Denver Ditch.
Denver
So,
Ditch. Thank you, Christine, for making us laugh
That's a good
so
one.
much.
Yep. Thanks for everything, Christine Casto. All right, Matt. You have 2 stories picked. Which one do you want to talk about first? You have Fire Night and Balls.
Let's talk about balls.
All right.
Balls.
Let's talk about some balls.
This is Nathan Tyree. This is Balls. Check it
I
out.
will tell my story about balls.
Great.
I had to ask people how to title this one, by the way, and that's what people came up with.
Great.
They're like, obviously, you need to call it balls. So I did. All right, so that was in the jail setting. That was at the Moffat County Sheriff's Department, which is Craig, Colorado, western side of the state. I was working for the county jail for Moffat County. I think I was just a regular jail deputy at the time. I was relatively new, but this was after prison. So, I mean, I kind of had some relevant experience. So I was in the jail setting. They arrested somebody. The local PD arrested this guy who was clearly having some kind of mental problems. Like, he was probably clinically insane.
Right.
He was self-medicating with marijuana, like a lot of marijuana. So when law enforcement contacted him for kind of like crazy behavior, he had, I think, like 2 pounds of weed in his car, which is, I mean, isn't clearly way more than you can legally possess. So they arrested him for, possession of marijuana. So they brought him to the jail, and I mean, he was self-medicating with marijuana. So when he was not able to get his medicine, he fell apart. So we couldn't move him to population. As soon as his weed wore off, he just took his clothes off immediately. So
Reality's not great all the time.
Yeah,
you
I get
know.
that.
So if you got to stay too long in it, it's gonna make you crazy. You know.
it's true. This guy was probably actually crazy. So
Nice.
first thing he did, put him in a holding cell. And so I don't know how well you know like jails, but there's a booking area, and then there's like population.
Okay.
This guy you clearly couldn't put in population because he just was naked. Like that he just was going to take his clothes off. So we put him in this holding cell, and as soon as he kind of got off his weed, he just took all his clothes off and was hanging out in there. He spent all his time kind of wandering around and talking about the Zac Brown band. But I don't know why, but that's what he talked about.
That's interesting.
Fried chicken, right?
Yeah, I don't know.
That's the song.
I don't even know the band. He just talked about Zac Brown band like, constantly.
Okay.
So there's two incidents with him that happened relatively close together. First, like he was relatively new to jail and he had to go and talk to his public defender, which means you have to walk him out of the cell over to this little room. So I went to his cell to open the door to be like, here's your public defender, to talk about your court case. And he was wrapped in a blanket, so I couldn't tell, he was naked. Probably should have guessed. Didn't. But I opened the door and he saw this as his opportunity. Obviously, because he took the blanket off and he went, yeah, and he threw it on me. And then he ran out into the booking area, buck naked, fully naked. And there were like 3 deputies in there. Corporal Booker at the time was there. He did a fantastic open field tackle, like got low, like lowered his hips.
Yeah.
Drove through the tackle.
Yeah, drove through
Yeah.
the tackle.
Okay, that's
Absolutely
yeah,
tackled
yeah,
naked
yeah,
dude.
yeah.
Fully tackled him. But I mean, I don't know if you've ever tried to wrestle a naked dude.
Oh God.
Not that I'm going to tell you. But
They're kind of slippery. So he started to get away. So, like everybody else in there, me included, ran over and did like a pig pile on the naked dude in the booking area.
Pig
and we
pile on the naked dude.
Yes. That's the name for my rock band, by the way.
pig pile.
And so we got him all handcuffed and put back in the cell. And he was still in there talking about Zac Brown band. But then, so I went home from that shift and came back the next day, and he's still fully crazy. He's still, talking about Zac Brown band and trying to figure out how to get to the roof through the cement slab on the floor and stuff like that. But one of the things you do as a deputy is you escort another inmate around and drop off food. So we go to the booking area to drop off breakfast for this guy. And this is where the story tile comes into play. So, have you seen jail doors before?
Seen what?
Like a jail door, how they look like?
Oh yeah.
I'm
It's
proud to
just-
say no, but
It's a window, about yay big.
Yeah.
And then there's a tray slot about the same size
Oh,
as
yeah.
below it.
Okay, yeah,
So it's
yeah.
like that. So he's standing in his cell. I can tell that he's naked this time. He's not wearing his blanket. It's a naked dude. So he's hanging out. And I'm like, whatever. So I put the tray slot in there, and then he walks over to me, and he looks at me like he's going to say something. So he makes like
Yes. I knew where this was
direct
going.
eye contact.
I love this.
And then he like drops his testicles on the plate in his milk, and he goes, and he makes eye contact with me, and he goes, balls. And I lost it. I mean, I just absolutely lost it. He spilled milk all over the place. And so I think I had to finish the dropping off food after that, but it took me a good couple minutes to collect myself and move on. Because how do you go from somebody making eye contact?
he planned that for a while too. That was the highlight of his day. All right, that was Nathan Tyree with balls.
I love that. Can you say that just like that again? That was Nathan Tyree with balls.
balls.
Sorry, Nathan.
That's how,
Carpe balls.
that's how he says it.
That's true. That is true. He was talking about balls. City councilor. That's the first thing is anytime we have somebody like that, Nathan is on city council sharing a story that he's interacted with prisoners. All right, so for background, some of you may not have seen it. Obviously, you just saw the story, but out of context, Nathan had been a PO, he's been a cop, he's been a few different things. So he's interacted at many levels in this industry, but hearing about prison antics is always fun for me. It's such a foreign concept in my mind. Obviously, I've never been to jail. I've never dealt with anything like
I
that.
worked at this one here in Brush for a long time.
I'm sure you saw some crazy things. Well, in context to
A
me,
few.
crazy for me, but you sound like you're on another level.
Yeah, I mean, there was definitely some crazies in there.
Yes.
So,
But then also funny and unexpected interactions, and just imagining. Not that I make it a habit of imagining balls all the time, but like imagining.
We don't judge,
right? We don't kink shame here on the
I
Bullhucker
think about
podcast.
them a lot.
That's good. Just some dude flopping his balls out on a lunch tray is the funniest thing in the world. And what do you even say to that? Yeah, there's nothing to say. There's no fixing it. It's just it happened.
right?
I just thought it was great. I was like, oh my gosh, I couldn't imagine just a tea bag and in milk. Ooh. Like, if
milk.
they're already gross enough, let's dip them in some milk.
That's why they call it Dunkin' Donuts.
I'll stick with Oreo cookies.
Dunkin' Gonads, yeah.
Dunkin'
Dunkin'
Donuts.
Donuts.
Yeah,
Dunkin' Donuts.
Dunkin'
That's
D's
good.
nuts. I love this.
You
That's
win.
awesome.
You win, Jen.
Every time I'm eating Rocky Mountain oysters, I always post a picture of me eating them on Facebook and put D's nuts.
Right, that balls was good, and I liked it because I always thought that cops, firefighters, etc., have
Yeah.
these kinds of stories, you
Yes.
know, and you wonder why cops freak out or get pissed off. It's because of things like this story, you know, where he's a grown ass man, you know. It's like, come on, man, put your pants on. You know what I mean? It's nuts. I don't know why anybody signs up to be a cop. God bless everybody who does, by the way. You know
Did you
what I
hear
mean?
what he said? Did you hear what he said, Jen? He said it was nuts.
I did say it was nuts. It is nuts.
Well, and it reminds me of something like a 5-year-old would do. So, you know, just what do you think you're going to, other than the cops are going to laugh at you in the break room?
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
And then I'm sure if you're in your own ad seg cell, like if you're in trouble and in lockdown, there's a camera on you. So you can go play the tape over and over and over
Just laugh.
again and just laugh with your
Yeah,
coworkers.
you piss the cops off. Maybe at best you make it on some shitty podcast. You know what I mean?
That's right.
And then all you got to drink is your milk.
Right.
Ew.
I see it as a dominance display.
Or maybe the guy just had nice looking balls.
Could be. It's like I haven't been able to show them off in so long.
Maybe that's just, you know, like, hey,
Surprise. And
You
you're
know,
like,
I'm kind of ugly. I don't have a nice chest, but you know what? I got a nice set of nuts.
I got a nice sack.
Here they are. So there you go. That was a great one. Balls was a good. That was
Thank you,
that was a
Nathan.
good pick.
Balls.
Thanks, Nathan Tyree. One of mine. I picked two, and I'm going to say the other one for. I always pick the one I want to hear last.
Surprise, surprise.
But other one I picked. I can't hear you. Well, we'll get into it here in a second. But here's I can't hear you.
I can't hear you. So, my first head coaching job was at Crowley County High School.
Where is that?
Ordway, small. So, my first head coaching job, first year I was down there, they're 1A, and I think they had 18 kids out for 11-man football. And I was lucky, good connections, and had about most of the boys in that school out for football. And that second year, they hadn't been in the playoffs in like forever. And my second year, we're rolling and undefeated, beat Burlington. We play Lyman for the league championship. And if you don't know anything, Lyman is the most storied high school program in the state. They have
Really?
more state champion, just the whole 9 yards. And
For their size?
for
Okay.
1A, yeah. So it's like the town's going bonkers and the biggest game in forever and all this stuff. And they come down to our place, and I'm crazy nervous. Like, second year, this is the biggest game I've ever coached in, and all this stuff. And before every game, you meet the refs, and they just make sure you're legally equipped, and just who your captains and anything you want us to know, and blah blah blah, and all this stuff. And I'm standing there, and we're almost done, and I look over, and I had this kid, Corey, and a great kid, big, good, like best looking kid we had, like 6'2", 6'3", played D end and tight end for us. And I looked at him, and Corey was one of those kids who played on the edge all the time. Like, little late, like to hit people around piles,
Yeah.
Probably had about 5 personal fouls already, and it's something we were working on, and I don't know why I did this. I don't know where it came from. I think I was so damn nervous, but the refs are about to leave, and I just go, hey, you see number 26 there? They're like, yeah. I go, he's pretty much completely deaf. He's a really good kid and a really good player, but sometimes he doesn't hear the whistle, and he can be late. And to this day, I have no idea where it came from, why I said that. And it's great. So the game goes. We are tied at halftime. I don't really notice anything weird happening with the kid or anything, and I'm just into it, and we're calling plays, doing my thing, trying to get us to win, and comes down to the end, and we're up by 1, and Lyman lines up to kick a field goal, and we have this kid who played corner for us, and he's like slow as molasses. I never thought he'd play for us, and the holder bobbles the hold, and he blocks the field goal, and we win the game. And the town goes nuts. They rush on the field, all this, and we're going through all this stuff for like 30 minutes, and all this.
Celebrating.
And I saw Corey. This has got to be like an hour after the game, and he looked kind of funny, and I'll go give him a hug, and I talk to him, and I'm like, what's up, man? What's wrong? Like, you got to be on cloud 9. And he goes, yeah, this is awesome, but Coach, it was the damnedest thing. Like, after every play, the refs would run in and be like, good job, 26. Good play, buddy. Play's over. The play's over. Good job. And I was
That's
like,
awesome.
Oh, that's so weird, Corey. And to this day, I never told him. He, after our state championship.
All right, that was I Can't Hear You with Ty Davies, the coach and Fort Morgan football coach. The reason I picked that story is because I think it's pure genius. I think pure genius. A kid who's aggressive, that's great, and you have one that likes to hit late. He's just an aggressive kid. Well, how do you stop that? That's going to be penalties. That's going to hurt your team. You tell the referees that he's hard of hearing. That is, that he can't hear the whistle blow. When he told me the story, I was just so impressed by that logic. That's why I picked this story. I kept telling Ty, this is genius. This is genius. But spoiler alert, it was the Bullhucker. It's a true story. It's a borrowed story. It was actually his dad that did it. So, but still, one of my favorite stories of the year on this podcast.
That the moral aspect behind it is great. But I think, girls make up excuses all the time not to shower at a gym. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, and I can't think of how many times I've made up an excuse. But, yeah, hard of hearing.
Yeah.
If he makes it to the NFL, he's going to get a lot of flags, I guess. So what? They all do.
Well, and it's funny that the referees would stop him every play.
Right, and congratulate him.
And they didn't tell the player that, hey, we told him you're hard of hearing because you're an asshole.
He's like, man, I'm doing really well today.
Yeah. No, he's like, why do they keep patting me on the back? Like, good job, buddy, good job. You're doing a good job. Yes, you are.
Here's a little treat for you.
Yeah.
I'm surprised it wasn't a penalty in some way at some point. Like, they get away with it for one game, right? How many games?
Well, this is the state championship game. That's
the only game that matters.
Yeah, that's the only game he did it in. So,
does that logic continue to future games? And how long do you think you can get away with that before someone to be like, all right, so is he actually deaf, or are we just getting yanked on?
Well, if you're playing one of those guys' team, know that none of them are special needs. Okay, so
I
like that.
Yeah, not
if you're playing our team, none of the kids are special.
Not special needs.
Well, what if they are though?
Well,
and then okay.
Then they're probably just a linebacker then.
My brain goes to this immediately is like
terrible.
What ridiculous thought that I just had was you have a deaf player on one team and a blind player on another team, and the deaf player is going to tackle the blind player, and he doesn't stop. Do you blow the whistle prematurely because the blind guy can't see the guy, or do you blow the whistle after the guy's blown up because he's not paying attention to the hits?
Is the blind guy carrying the ball?
Oh, he's got the ball.
Well, how do you know he's running the right way?
He's got the ball.
I was like, I don't know how offensive this is going to get, but you know, like crosswalks where they have the beeping noises?
Yeah.
You just set one up in like the end zone goalpost, and he runs at that. He or she runs at that.
And hopes the defensive linemen are going, beep, beep,
Yeah, exactly.
beep, beep. With their arms wide open to tackle him. Beep, 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 beep.
I'm thinking if you're completely blind or deaf, that would probably prevent you from. I mean, how you wouldn't hear anything, you wouldn't see.
You could vibrate the helmet.
I'm going to do something Matt absolutely hates. I'm going to old school reference a comedy.
Oh, great.
A movie.
Watch this movie I watched in 1910. It was on original silver nitrate.
It was almost there.
I know what you're going to reference.
Hear no evil, see no evil, right?
Oh, no, stir crazy.
Oh, that's pretty good too.
I don't know any of those.
You ever heard of Richard Pryor?
Yeah.
It's him and Gene Wilder.
Oh,
one's
okay.
deaf and one's blind, and they're running from a hitman. It's fantastic, dude.
Okay.
It's. You remember that?
Oh, that's what I thought stir crazy was. I thought they were in jail together and trying to. Okay.
No, it's Hear No Evil.
Yes, I have.
Hear No Evil, see no evil. Matt, it's you would like it.
I want to
It's-
check that out.
Yeah.
It's pure comedy.
And Gene Wilder's fantastic too, and Richard Pryor. He's Richard Pryor. So, anyway, Ty Davies, thank you for coming on the podcast. That was great. Dempsey hooked that one up. So, thank you to her as well. That was a great episode, man.
I just can't get over. That is such a on the fly. Like, what a coach thing to do. Totally on the fly, make an adjustment. Like, I can't figure this out. Screw it. He's deaf.
Hey, number 27 can't really hear very well.
Yeah.
So, in case he tries to take someone's head off, 20 seconds after the play, as everybody's walking back to the huddle, it's not his fault. So, pretty smooth, man. Thank you, Ty Davies.
Thank you.
All right. Jen, your next story, your last one is Black Crow.
Black Crow.
All right, we're gonna.
I laughed so hard. Oh, go ahead.
That's cool. Here, check this out. This is Michael Blecker with Black Crow.
Okay, sorry, Black Crow. So I'm at CSU. I'm in the dorm, and I have to go to class every day like most college kids don't do. But I was a good kid, so I did. So I start going to class for a few weeks. Everything's fine. And I would skateboard to class because I was like a badass nerd, I guess.
I love it.
Yeah, I just
Yeah.
skateboarded. And I got like piercings in my, at the time I had a piercing here and like a
Ooh.
piercing in my eyebrow. And I was cool.
Looks scary.
That's not what I was going for. I was
Okay.
cool. But
Sounds like a badass.
yeah, badass. There we go. That's
Okay.
a term we're going to use. Badass. So anyway, so I'm skateboarding to class, and I had a hat on. I would wear it backwards because I was badass.
Yes, of
Back
course.
then, yeah. So all of a sudden, my hat gets hit off of me, and I'm like, sorry, I'm trying to stay on the mic. My hat gets hit off me, and I'm like, what the hell? And I look, there's a bird flying away, and I'm like, oh shit, they flew too low and hit my hat off.
Right.
Well, that's crazy. Fast forward next day, all of a sudden, like my ear gets like nicked a little bit. I'm like, what the black crow flying away. What the hell?
That can't be a good sign.
Yeah, so I'm like, okay, this is crazy. Keeps happening. So I'm like, what? This crow is stalking me.
This motherfucker has
Yes.
something against me.
Yes. I'm like, what did I do? So I go to my the biology teacher, and I'm like, I don't know what it is, but this bird is stalking me. He's like, well, maybe it's like your hat or something you're wearing. So change that up. So I change it up. Still happens. What in the hell? He's like, well, maybe it's because your jewelry glimmers.
Oh, that's
right.
right, yep.
And birds are attracted to that. So I take my jewelry out. Fucking bird does it again the next day. Like, you've got to be kidding me. So then he's like, well, maybe it's because you're skateboarding and he thinks you're prey, so you need to walk. Walk? Nope, just a slower target for the bird. Boom. Every day. And every day there was witnesses. I mean, it got to be really annoying, as you can assume.
And you love birds.
Well, this is previous.
Oh,
I didn't
okay.
hate birds. Like, I actually have birds tattooed on my back, which
Okay.
yeah. So so then I it just keeps happening, and finally I'm like, all right, fine, fuck this bird. I'm gonna go out the back door. So I go out the back door. Nothing. Nothing. Like third or fourth day, fucking bird finds me, dive bombs me. I'm like, screw this. I am captive to my own dorm room for a week, and it was like I had to wait for many days until the bird, I guess, gave up and just quit stalking me. But that's why I'm afraid of birds, because this bird a black crow stalked me when I was in college. There we go.
All right, that was Black Crow with Michael Blecker, Big Mike. That was also filmed in the same place as Ty Davies. That was back-to-back pretty good episodes. So Jen, why'd you pick Black Crow?
First of all, I thought the whole episode was hilarious, but I am also terrified of birds. Mine is irrational, and I have had more encounters with birds than I can think of.
Really?
Yes. Yeah, just scary bird things. But crows can remember faces.
I see that.
They hold funerals for each other and they mourn.
Do they really?
And and I was just gonna wonder what kind of hat was he wearing, because maybe that bird just didn't like your hat and decided to bully the shit out of him.
He's wearing a fucking Raiders hat.
Look at that ugly hat. I need to go bother that guy.
But I just thought it was great. I was like, oh my God, if I had a crow target me, I'd never leave the house. I wouldn't be able to get out to leave at all.
That's fucking hilarious. They have funerals for each other. So his buddy Hank just got hit by a semi, and so he's just flying along and sees that kid, like fucking skater kid, and goes after him. Yeah.
So I wonder what the receptions are like, how the food is at a crow funeral.
I'll probably eat the dead crow.
It's not nearly as exciting.
Yeah, maybe they eat the dead.
Or they have finger sandwiches.
It was a good episode.
If only.
The whole episode was excellent. It really was.
And he had a line in there. Was it the witnesses? Yes. He's like, I have witnesses. He goes, well, I don't know him well enough to call him up. Like he's in court. The judge is going, let's call up your first witness.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know him that well. They were phoning. They were taping me with their phones. That was so funny. I have witnesses.
What did you think about it, Matt?
Okay, so two things right away. I don't have a fear of birds, but I get targeted by birds. I swear this.
Like dive bombing or shitting?
Shitting.
Okay.
Yeah. And I harken back to a time when I was in Catalina in California, and I'm like brand new swim trunks, brand new like little tank top thing, getting ready to go rock out and surf, swim kind of thing. And it's the second we get off the ferry, I sit down and it poops right on my swim trunks. And I'm like just looking at it, and we were the part that bugs me was like I had called it out earlier on the fair. I was like, I'm going to get pooped on by a bird. They always say, oh, it's good luck. That's just what you say because you have poop on you now.
Right.
And you have to make yourself feel better. But it made me think of that, where you just have certain animals just want, for lack of a better term, they just want to fuck with you. And crows being so smart, they're the perfect animal to do that to, especially to people. Partially domesticated because we build environments for them to get, actually want to come around and be around us. And then some people are just, not that, no offense, Mike. Hey, man, I don't want to say anything like that untoward. But sometimes you just got that kind of mug me face. And the raven is looking at him like, or not raven, crow. Crow's looking at him like, that's the guy.
Yeah, raven, nevermore.
How
that's
many
the guy.
times have you been shit on by birds?
Okay. And I'm glad we're diving into this.
They touch me.
Touch you? What?
Oh, you do yours first.
Okay,
then I'll
I'm
tell
like,
you my encounters.
these are kindred spirits all of a sudden.
Jen, show us on the doll where the bird touched you.
Exactly. Multiple, a more than I have fingers.
Really?
Yeah. And so, no joking, the other day, we had that big, it was some kind of I don't even know, goose or whatever, migration over in Hill Rose. There's probably thousands of these things in the sky. I go inside my house. I'm like, nope. And I literally, where I'm standing, where I was before, you just see the dive bombs hit right where I was. I'm like, I don't know what it is. I think it's maybe the red hair. It looks like a target. It's voluptuous and gorgeous, and it draws them in. Or I just, like I said, you have a mug me face, and animals know they can jack with you, and they just do it anyway.
Interesting. Yeah, I was at the McDonald's drive-thru once waiting to get my order, and a bird came in, hit my cheek, and went back out.
Hit your cheek?
I've had a parrot come and land on my shoulder in Hawaii and scare the holy crap out of me. And I had an owl fly in and hit me when I was on the back of a Harley.
Nope.
An owl?
An owl.
Not messing with that.
Okay.
Yeah, so, and Tara, my aunt used to have an African parrot, and she made me hold it once, and I got sick of holding it, and I went to put it back in its pet carrier, and it tried to bite me because it doesn't like to go in its pet carrier. This was her loving bird, and I flung that little fucker all the way across the room, just out of pure reaction, you know? Ah!
Yeah.
And she wasn't very happy with me, but yeah, his name was Mo. But yeah, I just don't like them.
Probably want a cracked neck?
Yeah. There's a reason chicken's my favorite food. Birds.
Well, and he always used to talk about beer. you got a beer? You want a beer? You want a beer? He was big into, I don't think he liked beer. I think that was just a common saying,
Just told him to say it.
Want a beer? Want
Someone
a beer?
in the house liked beer.
Yes, lots of people around the house like beer.
A question arises immediately.
What?
Have you found that birds come at you with the hat? Like, do they jack with this hat?
I've never had a hat on when a bird has come to get me. No.
So maybe there's something there.
Maybe.
Because I love it. No, I mean, I love this hat, and I'm like, if it's a deterrent to getting attacked by birds.
Maybe. But yeah, I can't go around with the hat all the time.
Well, yeah, no, you're right.
But
it's just a cool hat.
Well, then if you get shit on, that's on you. Okay, that's on you now. So
if you're not willing to wear a hat,
I've never had one shit on me. But yeah, I just thought it was so funny that he was talking about how he had witnesses and that this bird left him alone for a few days and then came back after him.
Planning.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh my God, that's creepy. And if they don't want to stop, they won't stop. If Crow wants to fuck with you, they're gonna. And that's what they're smarter than us. So
load up the guns. Let's see if that crow wants to mess around anymore.
Probably doesn't friends. All right, that was
that's a good one.
Black Crow. That was a good pick. Both good picks today, Jen.
well, and the name of the episode that you had, what was it? Beware the Crow.
The hoe and the border popo.
The hoe and the border popo. Oh my gosh, it was great.
Because the stripper story was also excellent. His stripper story was top notch. So.
His stripper story was hilarious.
Right,
yeah.
Right. That was great. So that was Black Crow. Both good picks, Jen. Thank you. Matt, your other pick was Fire Night.
It's a surprising one.
It was a surprising one, but we're going to check it out real quick before we talk about it. So here's Fire Night.
Yet again, it's another fire call because I'm trying to keep it fire-based for you guys, right?
Right.
So it's about 2 a.m. at the old Acosta house when we used to live on Cameron Street.
Mm-hmm.
Call comes in. My pager. Well, that's when we had pagers. Now we have these gigantic radios. But we used to have little pagers, and it beeps off really late at night. And it says, brush unit at 222 South Clayton for a structure fire. Parties are out of the residence, or possibly out of the residence. Fire is in the basement. Well, where is that, Larry?
222 Clayton Street?
South Clayton.
Oh, okay.
Where is it?
Is that by your parents' house?
That is.
That is your parents' house?
That is my parents' house.
Okay.
2 a.m.
Oh, okay. Snap.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm like, oh, God. I look at Teresa and I said, that's Mom and Dad's house. Okay?
Oh, that's going to be crazy, man.
So I, being the professional firefighter as I am, haul booty out the door, get to my front door of my vehicle. At that time, it was a little Ford Taurus. I look down. I don't have any clothes on quite yet. All I have on are my underwear. That's it. That's it.
Fireproof underwear at that.
I became a knight at this point. No, I'm just kidding. So I panic and I run back in the house. I told Teresa, crap, I forgot to put on clothes, So I'm putting on some shorts and a shirt and I run. And I'm thinking at this point, I'm not going to make a truck. So I start hauling booty over. Okay, go through here, go right here, right on Clayton Street, drive straight to my mom and dad's house. Pull up on scene. I see the van outside. I don't know if you remember, my mom and dad always have vans, right?
Okay.
That's one of their vehicles they've always had. We call it the Nan van. So out there, I see the lights on in the Nan van. I'm like, okay, I'm not sure if everybody's out. So I pull up on scene. I see smoke coming out of the basement of the house. I'm panicking, going, oh, God. Then I start thinking, Felicia's kids are there. My sister's kids,
Okay.
Zach and Shy. They're little babies at this point.
Right,
They're
right.
old. They're in their 30s now. So.
Right.
So I'm panicking, going, oh, God, they're in there. I got to go get them. So my night kicked in on me because the queen knighted me, of course. No, I'm just kidding. I should have been queen. No, I should have been knighted.
No,
not
you
queen.
could have been the queen.
I could have been queen.
He means drag night.
Yeah. Drag night queen.
Drag queen.
That's right.
Drag queen. Yeah, just get on your
fire.
knees. He said, you're going to knight me? She's like, whatever you want to call it. There, champ.
So I pull over by the little house where we have two houses there. So my brother lives in the back one. Well, this time it wasn't him. But so I pull in. I run through the back gate, and I see the back door open, and I'm like, I got to go do this. And I hear the sirens. I know the trucks are coming, but, man, this is my house.
Yeah.
I mean, my bedroom's down there that I grew up in, and I'm just,
your childhood home,
there's
yeah.
whole memories are in there. And then I'm just like, God, I got to do something. So I grab the hose, water hose right there by the house. Okay. And here's where the night kicks in on me. I grab that sucker and I turn that thing on full blast. And I literally have no gear All I have on is my shorts, my T-shirt. Thank God I put those on because I would have been almost commando going in.
Right.
I crawl through the front door or through the back door, go down the steps. I slither down like a snake, okay? I'm thinking, I'm putting this thing out. It's hotter than hell. The fire is in the basement. I can see the flames. I got the hose, and I'm tilting it as hard as I could, laying kind of on my belly. You know, it's that's the prone position, in case you don't know what that means.
Yeah.
And I'm on my belly, crawling down there, and I'm trying to squirt fire, and I'm just thinking, God, come on. And I've got no pressure. Well, the fire had burnt the water line.
Oh, shit.
In the basement. But I didn't know. I just, you assume you turn the water on and you're just pumping away, you know.
Yeah.
Of course, my adrenaline's going too, so I'm just like, yes, come on, fire, go out. I got this. I'm thinking in my head, I got this down. And I'm pumping lots of water thinking I got this. And all of a sudden I hear, get your ass out of the house. It's the chief.
Who was the chief at this time?
It was Dwight.
Okay.
I love Dwight. And I'm like, no, this is my house. You're not pulling me out of my house. So I'm still in there, still trying to fight, and I hear guys coming to the door, and he's telling him, get him out of there. So I kind of finally get tapped on the back of my feet, and I'm like, screw this, I got to get out. Nothing's happening. I'm not doing anything. Rod Crawl and all his buddies go in, and they saved the house, and I didn't. So I was really bummed, because the whole time I'm thinking, my adrenaline's pumping, guys. I mean, I'm just like, yeah, I'm slaying this dragon.
He's got smoke inhalation. He knows there's no water coming out of that hose, right, honey?
Just pointing at.
Honest to God, the fire was literally 50 feet across, and my hose was shooting like 5 feet. But my tunnel vision made this thing look like I was.
Like I'm fucking Aquaman.
Oh, dude, I was the best ever.
You're just fucking the carpet at this point.
Yep.
That's all you're doing.
Yeah. Pretty much, yes. So, of course, I backed out. I got yelled at. I mean, rightfully so. I deserved to be yelled at. But I tried so hard, and I had come to find out the kids had been out of the house for like 10 minutes. If my mom and dad are like, what is he doing? Right. My parents in their van going, what is this guy doing? Why is he crawling in the house? Let it burn. And so it was a tough night for me. I mean, to see the basement burn, and we lost everything in the basement. It was pretty sad, but so that was the memory, and I really, that night, I just really felt like that night feeling of riding the horse, like I was the man.
All right, that was Paul Acosta with Fire Night, Matt. Why'd you pick this one?
Well, there's a line in there that made me laugh where we're doing voices back and forth for like movie trailers, and I love shitting on Larry, and Paul said you sucked, and I thought that was funny. No, that's not the main reason, but he did say that in the podcast. I was jabbing you today. I was going at you. Imagery. That's obviously something that I love when someone can tell a really good story and they paint a great picture. Is the picture of Paul Acosta absolutely freaking out in like his skivvies, running into a house, his family home, on fire with a garden hose that could only shoot like 3 feet, trying to put out a blaze in the basement, and how he's okay. Emotions hit you, Paul. I get you, but like the training, he's on the possibility of becoming like the Volunteer Fire President Association or something like that.
He's on some huge.
And so this is a trained man, high level trained firefighter, and went full panic mode with his family home.
I don't know if we'd say like all those words about Paul Acosta, but yeah, he's a firefighter, highly trained.
But they always have like
he's got skills, man.
A bag, their bag, like your bag you take to the hospital when you go to have a baby. They've got their fire bag with their flame retardant outfit. I don't know.
Oh yeah, so ready to rock.
I don't know.
Yeah, their equipment too. Yeah.
He wasn't supposed to show up to that one though, because I don't think he was even on duty, if I remember correctly. He just had a radio.
And his parents'
and
address
it's his parents' house. And so he's like, I got to go do this. And I'm thinking, okay, that's amazing. His vision, of course, was I'm riding in like a knight on the steed. I'm going to save the day. And then the actual vision being him rolling around on his stomach with a hose spraying in the air is just absolutely amazing.
Yeah. just destroying the carpet. That's all he's doing. That's all he's doing.
And I love that.
Yeah.
I thought it was really inspiring in a way because, I mean, that's your house. You're gonna, even if you're not a firefighter, if you hear that your house is on fire and your parents might possibly be in it, and didn't he say his sister or kids?
He thought
might
none
have been
of them
staying
were
there.
None of them were in the house. They're all on the outside. Like, what the hell is Paul doing? Why is he going in the house?
How drunk is Paul right now?
Like
in his little whiteies tighties with the brown streak in the back, he's running around grabbing the hose.
That is so amazing. Like, yes, you're in full hero mode, and I love to, like, obviously he's analyzed the story since then, but I would say like the rose tinted glasses he had on him running in to save the day, that hour or whatever was the most heroic moment of his life in his eyes, and then the reality sets, and it's the total opposite.
His parents watched him do it. I guarantee you this will happen. His parents watched him run in here, and his mom was gonna be like, "Paul," and his dad's like, "No, let's see what happens.
Let's see what happens.
Let's see how this plays out." Come on, Marlene. He's not even our favorite child. You know what I'm saying? So, fuck it. The others are so much better. So,
I think I would, even in panic mode, at least take a moment to get dressed. But I also sleep dressed, in, yoga pants and a t-shirt or whatever. So I'm halfway there.
Yeah.
Right.
At the moment. But yeah, I just thought it was so heroic of him to hear that and just go. It didn't. Nothing else mattered but for him to get over there and to help try to save that home.
And it's his child at home. So.
Mighty Mouse, here I come to save the day.
More like the guy of something about Mary, my baseball. I'm going hold.
And it goes out to Paul if you're listening. Fire Night.
Now, is Paul... Or the fire department, it's all Morgan County, Brush and Fort Morgan.
There's actually two separate entities.
Yeah, there are two separate entities.
A city entity and a district entity.
And Matt was talking about Jen. He's I can't now. I have to go back and listen to the podcast, but he's actually applying to be on some big council. That he'd be the first one from Morgan County to do it ever, I believe. Right?
I thought it was Colorado.
Maybe you're right.
Yeah, and it was like the Volunteer Firefighter Council of America or something.
Right. I did hear him say something about that because I heard him say he goes to all these council meetings. Yeah. So I hope you get it.
Yeah,
absolutely, Paul. Absolutely.
I think he deserves it. And especially, I hope that, Paul, if you can make a promise to us that if you get elected to that position, will you share a bit of this story in your acceptance speech and then let us know how it went? Because I would love to hear how it went.
About your 2-inch garden hose? Yeah. All right.
All right. So there's also, we can't just skip over this. I know we have a time crunch, but we got to talk about how the other half of the value of that story was the brotherly hatred and love that Paul and Larry have for each other, and how seething they were interacting with each other back and forth. It was amazing.
I would run into a burning building for that dude.
I know.
I talked shit the whole time I was doing it.
Yes.
You'd never live it down, Paul, but I'd come after you, buddy. I'd come after you. He's a good dude. I've known him for a very, very long time. So.
It was awesome.
And we have a very, that's our relationship. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's always
a beautiful thing. Oh, and shout out Bills Nation, Paul, with DeMar Hamlin.
That's horrible,
Wishing
man.
you guys the best and your team
horrible.
and everybody the best, man.
Yeah. He was injured on the field. It was
cardiac arrest.
He just got hit just right, man.
Yeah.
I mean that's a freak of nature. That's a freak accident. Yeah. But hopefully he's okay, man. So,
thinking about Bills Nation, man.
Yep. You know what? I'll even say it this time. Think about Bills Nation. You know how much I hate that, Paul.
Actually, Bills Mafia. He'll love it if you say Bills Mafia. He'll love it.
Go Bills Mafia.
There it is.
Oh well, never mind.
Actually, not to get too sidetracked. Did you see where Cincinnati lit up the whole downtown area in red and blue? And yeah, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool.
I think it's amazing how sport can bring us together in the worst moments, but still remind us, like, hey, man, we're people living this life.
Right.
Actually, I am going to say this because I had written it in my notes. The Anne Frank story. He was talking about Zizzurp.
Scissorp.
Sip the scissor.
So he must be from a different generation because it's called lean now.
It's called what?
Lean.
Lean?
Lean. Lean. And the reason I know that is because a few years back I started finding bottles laying around my kid's room. Just Robitussin, but they were making. I was like, "What is going on?" It's like, "Well, we've been doing lean," and I was like,
"What the fuck is lean?
What's lean?"
It's like Robotripping.
Yeah.
You're just taking a bunch of cough medicine.
Yeah,
you never heard of Robotripping?
Robotripping is how I know it too.
Yeah, Robotripping. You take a bunch of Robitussin so you can hallucinate.
Okay, that's not me.
So then, as soon as I realized that, I was like, "Oh my god, I got a bottle of codeine in the fridge." He's probably never even noticed it. So I immediately went and took the codeine. And now we don't deal with it anymore. But yeah, I was just like, "You're drinking cough syrup, Jolly Ranchers, and Sprite."
Sip the scissor, man.
To get drunk, why aren't you just drinking beer? But yeah, lean. And when I heard Zizzurp, I was just like, "Oh my gosh." Every generation it changes. I know it is Robotripping too.
Yeah.
This is I told Drake, you're like the most hip hop guy in North Dakota. It's got to be it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I come from the generation where you just drank whatever you could out of a handle. You know,
Yeah.
vodka or whatever. You know.
Yeah.
Scissor. Who's got that kind of cash?
Boone's Farm and Mad Dog.
Oh, sisters, preach. So, and like I said, vodka straight, like gut rot vodka. Like, yeah, well, you know,
Skull.
when you're 18 and your liver's the same color it came in,
That's true.
You can do that. So
That's true.
that was Fire Night with Paul Acosta.
Fire Night.
Yeah, Fire Night. All right, one last story to talk about. Now, this is the story that no matter in what part one or part two, I was going to make sure this one made the list.
Good.
I don't want to say this is my favorite story of the year, but it's a strong contender for my favorite story of the year.
Very cool.
It was from Jess Filla in Akron, Colorado. What's up, Jess? And it's
East Side?
My Pimp or Yours. Now, this is a story. I love the story so much. Well, you know what? I just did.
You did it too. Hey, hold up, Larry. Shut up. We're gonna watch the clip.
Here's My Pimp or Yours.
So, one particular regular day in the hood, I have my daughter in my car, and we are going to this Pollo Tropical, and the car in front of me is a girlfriend of mine and her mom. Her mom is driving me, and we're going to park the car there, and all of a sudden, her mom decides, I'm going to reverse. So she does. So I have to reverse, otherwise she's going to hit me.
Right.
Well, guess what? So this is going to sound like a cop hater story, but I just need to explain that it's part of my story.
Okay.
So, no offense. So, without thinking, because in my mind I'm avoiding the accident, I throw my car in reverse. Well, there was two officers walking right behind me.
Oh, no.
So I
Naturally.
dang near hit one. Cocky guy. Cocky girl. That's me. I have come a long way
Right.
in this nice area. So he immediately starts like, hey, watch what you're doing. And I'm like, watch what you're doing. And then he was like, oh. And he was like, you're a stupid driver. And I was like, you're a stupid ass cop. He was like, oh, yeah. I was like, oh, yeah. I was trying to avoid an accident. My daughter's in the back seat. So what are you going to do about it? Now my hood's starting to come out.
Yeah.
Thank goodness you had this one last. So he's like, I'll tell you what I'm going to do about it. And I was like, go ahead. I don't care about you. So actually, he didn't do anything. So I thought. So eventually we park the cars. We have the meal. I get back in the car with my daughter. They go their way. I go my way. Saw the cop car. I thought, something's not right.
Yeah.
Here we go.
So I thought, okay, I'm going to go ahead and park right here at the Chevron gas station, and I'm going to wait it out. Now, you may not know this, but I didn't have a cell phone because there wasn't any.
Whoa, that was a that
Yeah,
was a time.
Yeah.
At one point in time, they didn't exist. Yeah.
So when you sit at the Chevron, you're just sitting there.
How?
You just watch people.
That's foreign to me.
Yep.
I don't understand.
So
that.
you just hang out. So I hang out, and then I think, I'm going to start pulling away. The minute I put my car in drive, here they come.
Yep.
I thought, okay, that's cool, because really, I'm just a single mom with my daughter in the back seat.
Yeah.
Not so much, Jessica.
Oh no.
So what I learned is within the legal parameters, questioning is all open. They can ask you anything.
Oh, yeah.
And I wasn't too experienced being caught, if you would. So I never really experienced that side before. Right. So asked for my license, of course, ran my license. Well, I had a different type of lifestyle at that time. So my address didn't match my license. Ticket number 1. I am literally like cussing him out. Hood style. You can only imagine. It's ugly. So next thing, your insurance is expired. No, it's not. Yes, it is. No, it's not. I have a military dad. I have USAA. It automatically renews. Well, guess what happens if you don't keep your address updated with the DMV? Your insurance doesn't renew properly. Guess what happens if you don't update your insurance or your address with the DMV? You don't get the notice. You don't know you don't have insurance.
Jeez.
Guess what the Florida law is with driving without insurance? They suspend your license.
Yep.
So I've got wrong address, I've got no insurance, and my license is expired. Guess what happens when you drive with a suspended license in Florida?
Probably get arrested.
Off to the clink you go.
Yeah.
So this is the situation that I'm in. Mind you, my daughter's in the back
I was
seat.
going to say.
How old is she?
6 months,
Oh, wow. Baby.
baby.
Okay.
So in my mind, I'm like, human services is coming. This is
Right.
going to be bad.
Yeah.
Does it stop my mouth?
Of course not.
Of course not.
No.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that I told the hurricane story because upon the time of inspecting my entire vehicle, a case of spray paint is found in my trunk. Well, graffiti is huge. So he was like, oh, what are you doing with this case of spray paint? Well, because of the hurricane, I actually got a subcontract with FEMA, and it may not appear, but I was a construction inspector because all this sidewalk had to be replaced, all these roads had to be replaced, all these reflectors had to be replaced. So I had a fabulous job with FEMA, and I used a lot of spray paint because we would indicate in bright orange where the restoration needed to happen.
Yeah.
Didn't believe me.
Jeez.
So now I have a case of spray paint, I have a bad address, I have no insurance, and I'm driving with a suspended license, and I'm mouthy as all get out. And this particular officer, which this will come full circle, was in training, so he was with another one. So they were all about beating their chest, and they were
Right.
going to show me
Right.
how it was.
Yeah.
So you bet your ass I got arrested.
Oh, wow.
I had called that girl back, and I said, you need to come and get Leah because I'm getting arrested.
Right.
And she's like, what happened? So I was like, this, bleep, dee, 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 I'm starting, they can hear me. So I get arrested. Straight up. Handcuffed in the back of the squad car in Miami. It's not like here, guys. When you get arrested in Miami, there's so many people. You don't just go to the county jail. You go an hour and 15 minutes to North Miami to the processing center. Guess what you do the whole time you're in the back seat? Talk shit. The whole time.
Just run your mouth.
Just run it hard. And they're like, that's cool. That's cool. So I get to the processing center. I literally get thrown into a jail cell with like real hoods. So I'm thinking, all right, you better get your mean face on, toughen up, because this is
Right.
only the beginning. I didn't know it was going to happen. I'd never been arrested before.
Right.
So I'm in a jail cell. There's one girl totally laid out. There's another girl who is strung out, but at least she was upright. This other one is laid out on the floor. And then there's another one that is super mean. And she's all like, I need to call my lawyer, and I'm hungry, and you need to give me something, and this is bullshit, and on and on and on. So I think, oh my gosh. Well, I really didn't have anybody to call. So I just waited out. Next thing I know, they come, open the jail cell, they get us out. So I'm like, sweet, it's a done deal, right? Oh no. We get to go in a jail van with some other women from other cells. We guess where we're going? To the next processing center.
Wow.
So now you have like 25 bitches in the van. And everybody's like, yeah, what's up? This is bullshit. It was hooded out, screaming, talking mad shit. And I am sitting there like, is this seriously happening right now? Am I trying to avoid an accident?
Right.
So we make it to another jail. And there's all kinds of women there too. There was one lady there, she didn't have any shoes on. She was like superly nice dressed, cute little lady. She's like, I didn't even really do anything. I didn't know my license was suspended. And I was like, oh gosh, you're after my own heart. Like, I'm going to hang with this lady, you know.
Yeah.
She's not going to try to beat my ass later.
Right.
So hang out there for a while. Guess what? We're not done.
Jeez.
They must have some kind of super sorting mechanism process where they just keep categorizing you and then shifting you.
Sure.
So now I am on the straight up, old school, white, flat nose jail bus with the grids on the windows. And we are going back now down to downtown Miami, handcuffed to each other. So we're sitting in the jail bus, and I am handcuffed to a young lady, I'll call her that, with a tremendous black eye. I mean, it is like huge, swelled shut. It just looks like South Park. It's so big.
Wow.
So I'm like, well, I'm just not going to say anything. Maybe I look like a badass, you know?
Yeah.
Even though I just kind of have a big mouth is what got me here and being irresponsible. So eventually, some other girls get on the bus. They recognize the girl that I'm handcuffed to. They start getting into a fight over whose pimp is who.
Oh, wow.
How do you turn tricks for your pimp? Do you turn the trick and then get the payment? Or do you get the payment and then turn the trick?
I think it would depend on the pimp's policy.
Yeah,
right?
I'd say I would defer to the pimp in that regard.
Yeah.
So, not to F-bomb too bad, but you can imagine they're not having a conversation about it.
Yeah.
They're like, I tricked for my pimp this way, and they start getting into a fight. Don't forget, I'm handcuffed to this girl.
Yep.
Oh, jeez.
She is literally about to yank my arm off because they are throwing blows. Don't think they care. They don't care that you're fighting because you're lowlifes.
Right.
Because if you weren't lowlifes, you wouldn't be on the jail bus.
Right.
So it's not like they're like, hey, don't
break it up, ladies.
do that.
Language, ladies. Language.
Right.
Yeah.
So she's like, well, I can't say the story without saying the F-bomb.
Go for it.
So she's like, I fuck for my pimp first. And she's like, you're a dumbass bitch. I get from my pimp and then I go fuck. And she's like, well, fuck you, you nasty ass bitch. And then she's like, fuck you, you stupid bitch. And I'm going to whoop your ass. And then they just start throwing blows over the seat and the whole bus erupts. And they're like, hell yeah, fuck this shit. They're all bitches. And it was awful. It was absolutely like right out of the movies.
Yeah.
I couldn't get out
School
of
board
it.
president.
I know. I can't believe I was actually not going to say that
I
part.
I can bleep it out if you want.
I love this podcast.
So I got through it.
That's the greatest.
Damn.
I got through it.
That's amazing.
A
All right, so that
final.
was Jessica Fila with out of Akron with My Pimp or Yours. Now, the reason I picked this story is, first of all, she was a great storyteller.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jessica lays down a lot of work on every story. She puts a lot of context into everything. You know what I mean? So, I really liked it. The thing I liked the most is it's a story about someone who's laughing about their youth, you know, and the stupid shit you do, you know, and you could tell when she told the story how she laughed and she'd shake her head and she's like, oh, it was horrible, you know.
Yes.
It's become a fond memory. The most painful thing became a fond memory over time, you know, because what time equals, what did they say, comedy?
Timing.
Pain plus time equals comedy,
Yes.
right? So, yeah, that's why I picked that story. And Matt and I were as I'm editing it, watching our faces, we're laughing. We're like, what? as she's like, I gotta say the F word to do this, and we're like, go ahead, and then it just the floodgates open, man. Here comes Jessica, so.
I know, it was great. I was like, oh, she talks like I do, like kindred spirit, man.
Oh yeah, she's a G.
Yeah, Jess don't. She ain't no puss, man. She'll come at you, man.
School board president. How can you top that?
You can't, man.
And the value to that, in my eyes, is not only it's somebody who can be honest about their past. That's honorable and respectable. But then also like the ability to live that life and then still build a life where you can have that at the end of it. I would say that's an incredible life experience.
Right, I agree.
And I would argue you're very lucky in a community, especially small communities, where you can have people like that who have had eclectic, very different lives and experienced all walks of life to then share their perspectives in those positions.
And have the kids around them. Because I think she talks about Puerto Rico, right? Is that what she said? She does like classes on it for the kids.
Yes,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, so you have someone who has that experience in a small town the size of Akron.
Yep.
I mean, how many people are in Akron? 2,000 maybe? I don't even know. It's somewhere in there, but it's cool. And I liked her whole episode. And it was even the same night we did Corby, and Corby was awesome too.
Corby was great.
Corby did a really good job.
I had a blast with him as well.
He's the dude you can drink beer with. If you watch the Corby episode, I don't think anybody doesn't like Corby.
I think I remember Corby's.
Big old tall guy.
Yeah.
I don't know him personally, but
he was sweet.
Yeah, he's 6'18" or something, or 5'18".
I think that's what he said. He had a number that he came up with.
Yeah.
6'18".
That was the only podcast I've had a beer on too, so it's funny you mentioned that.
Oh, that's right.
That's the one where you could have a beer with him and have a good time.
Right.
Thanks.
And you lucked out on that because we did the first one with Connie, but the audio got corrupted.
Yeah.
So we had to redo the whole podcast. Kind of a bummer, but it was good. He had a good episode. But Jessica's was. Akron is 6-0 with people on this podcast. It's
a very interesting town.
Everybody's done awesome on it. So if I had to give, and I'll give them out here in a minute, some honorable mentions, some Akron people will come up on that. But anyway, that was my pimp or yours. Thank you, Jess, for coming on the podcast. You did an awesome job. I got a feeling if we went back, we would get 3 new stories out of her that were pretty amazing. So
yes.
She also had the story about the hurricane.
That is one of the more intense stories, especially it being real, like one of those intense stories that...
Was it Andrew? Which one did she say it was?
I can't remember.
It was a hurricane in the 90s that her and her family lived through and survived, and she would talk about... Have you been through a hurricane before? Neither have I.
I couldn't imagine it.
And she was talking about basically how it was a free day, you know what I mean? Like everybody would get snacks and hang out at the house, the power would go out, and it actually leveled the house she was in, so...
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it was a crazy story. The whole episode was really good, so it was excellent, so... those are our 8 stories. I think we got them all. Yeah. Yep.
Those are great.
It was fun. I want to thank both of you for doing this with me all year. This has been a lot of fun, and it's, I appreciate the help,
It's always so much fun. Thank you. And thank everybody that came on this year. It's been wonderful.
Right.
For real.
And it's tough to get people on this sometimes because you get them to step out of their comfort zone to come do this.
I think it helps, and I like that you do this where you're interested in the real life, that doesn't have to be a yuck funny story.
Right.
Because I think a lot of the assumptions, even when I first was on, was that I was trying to be entertaining.
Right.
Instead of just being me in a seat. And I think to a lot of people, if you understand this, you guys don't have to make us laugh. You don't have to make us cry. You can just tell interesting stories from your life and just be you in a moment and share it.
You guys give me shit. So does Denzia. So does Adam. I love the serious stories the most.
Yeah, you do.
I really get into them, man. I mean, I appreciate a funny story. Everybody does. I love to laugh. And there's been some stories on this podcast I've laughed my ass off at. When I re-edit them, I laugh again at them, you know. And you guys, all the hosts have been really funny, But it's the one where people talk about, I just respect the fact when someone has the balls to say, this is something that happened in my life.
Yes.
And it was shitty, and I lived through it, and here's the story.
Right,
Absolutely.
right.
I absolutely love it. Was there any honorable mentions you guys had for podcast stories? I'll tell you a few I had. I'm kind of shocked you didn't pick one from Rick Stroh. The one where his birthday.
That was Ryan, or was it Rick?
That was Rick Stroh. It was the story where he had peed himself on his 21st birthday, and his buddy jumped on the waterbed he was on and started taking a bath in the pee, and thought it was beer. And dude, Rick Stroh has that infectious laugh too.
Yes, he does. And what I thought was so funny was I'm literally like, "Who was it?" And he just names them off, and I'm just like,
he just starts name dropping.
Oh,
people.
I know all of them.
Yeah, it was great. And the other one was Carrie Ankrum. the Queen story. If you have a chance, check out the Queen.
I didn't hear that one.
It's about a lady in her town who drives a box van with bunk beds in it. Say they're pretty sure she's a hooker, but she has a huge beehive hairdo like Marge Simpson, I guess. Wears high heels everywhere, like when she mows the lawn, shovels the walk, high heel. Yeah, but she would come in when Carrie was learning how to be a hairdresser, and she would because it was like a little school, so you get cheap, right? $5 haircuts.
Yeah.
And she would come in there. That's how Carrie got to know this lady. And she'd always smoke the cigarettes. And but the bunk beds in a box van make me laugh because why do you need the second bed?
Yeah, it is.
It's like, okay, I'm almost done with this guy. You get away, you know?
Yeah, go in the batter's box.
That's what you're right. In the hole.
Up on deck.
Yeah.
Ironically enough, you're in the hole before you go in the hole.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, you're actually on deck before you come down into the hole. Right?
And I could pick 15 more stories on this podcast that I really liked.
You just nailed where I was going to go with this, and I swear to you, I'm not trying to do this as a cop-out, is I haven't seen every single episode, so I can't speak to every single thing out. It's all right. I barely pay attention when I'm hosting. The thing to me is it seems like every episode has unique gems and these beautiful moments, and it's something I share with you a lot when we talk about what the concept of this podcast is taking people in everyday walks of life and giving them a spotlight to share a bit about who they are, and then allowing people who are part of that everyday walk of life to see that person in a brand new way.
Right.
In terms of 2023 and what I would love to see from this podcast is so much more of that. And keeping with that growth and sharing those people, because it's amazing. Famous podcasts, you could show off famous people, and we all know these people to a certain extent, their outcomes, their goals, and the things they've achieved. But I couldn't feel more interested about the people that I interact with on a day-to-day basis that I don't know enough about.
Right.
And they get to share that on this, and that's just absolutely amazing.
Well, and they share something real, and you said a lot of people are apprehensive. Have you ever had anybody that ended the show and said, "Oh, that was terrible"? They all love it. When you're done, you find out how much fun it is.
That's exactly it.
It's. I want to say I'm batting 1,000 with that one. I mean, and I tell everybody. Matt tells everybody, if you will do it, if it doesn't feel good at the end, we erase it.
Yeah.
Just come tell us your stories. And I now had one person, after you're done, you hit the head on the nail. Jen, if they're done, they're like, that was fun. I always ask them, will you come back? And they're like, in a heartbeat.
Did you hear what he said? Did you hear what Larry said? He said he hit the head on the nail.
Hit the nail on the head.
Hit the head on the nail.
Hit the head on the nail?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
The nail has a head. You hit it.
You hit the head on the nail?
Yeah.
You hit the nail on the head.
I hit the head on the nail. I'm just making this argument because he's right, and I'm trying to back out of it.
What can I do? What can I do?
Yeah, I didn't catch it.
Oh, no, I'm always listening for those with Larry. Always.
He's a prick. That's
that's right.
But I appreciate everybody that's supported this, has watched it. It's been really cool. And it's getting to a point where on a daily basis, someone brings it up to my,
Dude, for real.
Talks about the podcast. And once again, if you go on the bullhucker.com, there's a contact information. Come check us out, man, and send me a message. If you have someone, or rat your friends out, I will come after your friends. If you have somebody that is a great storyteller, I'll come talk them into it, and
yes.
And we'll sit down. We're gentle. We have a good time, and I tell them it's not 100% of you talking. Believe me, it's me and 4 attention whores that I know that will do the talking if you let us.
I'll come chase you down in the street like that little Al guy, Al Roker.
Yeah. And if you don't,
Al Roker,
tell me a story.
And if you don't believe that, look at the timestamp right now because we're about 2 hours. So I want to apologize, but you know what?
I don't apologize.
This is my favorite part of the episodes is talking about the whole year. What I mean? So it's fun to reminisce, and I want to thank you guys for taking time out of your schedule to look through the podcast and see your favorite stories too. And
absolutely,
I'm looking forward to working with you guys in 2023 on podcasts.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Here's to 2023, gang.
And also, you can find all our stuff on the bullhucker.com. As I forgot, I'll tell you a funny story. I'm going to rat Adam out right now.
I love that.
Bottom right-hand corner of the screen, little red dot, subscribe. Hit that, subscribe to our podcast. If you're listening to this on any platform, make sure you follow. Leave a remark, and we appreciate it. I'd like to read all the comments if we see them. So I always say, what is it?
It's a small click for you, but a big click for us.
Okay, I always give Adam shit.
I can't believe I said it right.
I'm a little shocked myself.
I mess it up every time.
Jen just stares at me like, why are you looking at me? But Adam was waiting because he wanted to beat Dempsey to the punch so bad.
He did.
And I totally forgot to do it. After we're done, he's like, why didn't you do that. He was just waiting to be like, smoke like for you, big Lewis.
He was ready.
Yeah. So anyway, we're going to get out of here, guys. Thank you so much. And thank you all, everybody in 2022.
See you in 2023.
See you in 2023. Peace out.
Peace.
Thanks, guys.
That went well.